Hello, it's a nice crisp November day here in Michigan, and I want to give you a tour of the garden, but I thought we would come over and check on my bees first. I have 2 hives and I just saw a bee fly out of this hive. I got a dead bee there, but that's normal. So I'm just going to take a listen on top and see if I can hear any buzzing in there today. Oh, a bee just went in. Well, it's hard to hear anything in there. I really need to take the hive apart, but I have not done that yet today, and really I should, because today's the last warm day we're gonna have, warm enough to open the hives. So Ken stepped out for a little bit, so maybe when he gets back I will open it up. But on to the gardening tour. On to my garden tour. This is my first bed when you come in the garden. I built this originally for strawberries and garlic, and the strawberries did make it into here, so all these are strawberries. Until about here, I thought this was a strawberry. Now I'm thinking maybe it's parsley. I transplanted it from another bed. So comment below if you know if this is parsley or strawberries. You can see like this is definitely a strawberry, and they look very, very similar. But where I had this, I did not plant strawberries. So we'll see. I got a little blank space here, and then I have some Ruby Queen beets, some more Ruby Queen beets, some more Ruby Queen beets, which are actually sprouting right here, carrots, and another variety of carrots. And all those should continue to grow through winter. So moving this way where we have the trellis, I have some asparagus growing that I planted from seed in the spring. And then I actually planted some radishes here, and I have some rosemary that I don't remember if I planted it or not, but it showed up here. I have it in a few places, so I'm leaving that. And then all around I'm having radishes come up. You can see right here, they're growing. So in about, I think 2 or 3 weeks, I can actually harvest those. I might plant some more. And then I don't know what I put in over here, but something is definitely growing here that's not, I don't think it's a radish, but I don't know. Sometimes I forget to mark my spots. So moving on here, we have a kale plant. I actually planted this last spring, I think, and it kind of died off and then just grew back. And I've been feeding it to my chickens here and there. And I have a bunch of carrots. I kind of thinned them out so they could grow a little bit bigger, and I just left them in the bed. So I'm going to let them grow over winter. And then I just planted more kale in throughout here. And then over here, these are my nasturtiums. They should come back in the spring, so I just left them in there. And look at my garlic, because it's been so warm, they are going crazy. And I actually think right here, I might have a sunflower or something growing that I didn't plant. Probably a bird planted it. But yeah, all this garlic, it needs to actually freeze over winter, and then it will grow back in the spring. So let's move across here. This bed I also planted with garlic. Some of it is soft and some is hardneck. The hardneck will actually grow scapes that you can continue to harvest like throughout the spring. I think this is a hardneck actually right there, because that looks different than, like, let's say like this one, which is a little skinnier and whatnot. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get some scapes out of that eventually, and they'll keep growing back every year. And then here's my German chamomile. I didn't actually harvest any flowers from this. I was kind of just seeing what it would do. I thought they had died off, and then I like cut the tops off, and then they kind of just grew back. So they're not supposed to be a perennial, but I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm not sure. It's still been kind of warm. We've had some frost, but they're doing really good. So like I said, I'm just going to leave them and see what happens. Moving this way, this says, I meant to plant this with lettuce, and I accidentally grabbed the kale seeds and spread them all over in here. So I'll probably have a whole bed of kale, which is fine. I like that for the chickens in the winter, and it doesn't really die off. Now I think this is hyssop anise hyssop. It's not like true hyssop, which I didn't know there really was a difference when I planted these. Again, this is all an experiment. But this came in really well. It's like really thick this year, so I'm really excited that, and it's still alive, so it should make it. And then these are my echinacea. I didn't think it was gonna make it because it like looked like it wasn't doing anything, but I read that so I read that echinacea like puts all its energy into the roots the first year and then will flower the next year. So hopefully in the spring summer I will have some echinacea flowers here. I'm guessing this is a random carrot. Again, random things. And then I planted parsley and common sage and dillweed here for winter. I'm hoping that will come up. Moving along this way, I planted chives, which is interesting because this looks a lot like what the garlic is that's growing over there. So we will see, but these chives are growing fast, which is crazy. I have some over here. I don't know. What is this? I don't know what this is. Maybe these are the onions I planted. I have onions planted everywhere. So maybe these are just onions because I planted them along the edge like that. I'm not sure. Maybe these are not chives. Maybe these are onions. Something is growing there. Unsure. Well, we'll have to update you on what that is. Okay, well, I also planted some other things in here. I put in cauliflower. Oh, you can see one budding, or germinated right there. So I planted some cauliflower in here for the cool weather. These are broccoli. I let them get crazy. I was trying to get seeds, and then they got so thick I couldn't really pull them out. So I just cut the tops off and fed them to my chickens and left them. And look at them. They're like just growing back. And I'm getting a little head developing here. And here, I'm getting multiple heads. So I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to tear out the roots and the broccoli will just come back. It's been pretty interesting. And again, whatever I planted over there, I guess there's like little ones here too. You see that? I don't know what they are. They're everywhere. Oh, I planted broccoli, but that's not what broccoli looks like. I don't know. I'll have to see. And this looks like lettuce in here, which I did have lettuce in this bed. So maybe that's just like lettuce seed coming up. And then I got a bunch of something I planted over there. I planted more kale right here along this side. You can see some of the onions I planted and how they're like sticking out. Should probably just take those out. Oh yeah, and this one's, I bet you I have onions everywhere. Look, there's one here and here. Yeah, hopefully my onions will grow, and once it gets too cold, maybe I'll just come pull them out and use them. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Look at all these. I'll just let them grow and find out. This is very much a mystery bed. I don't know. I didn't even know these things were in here till doing this little tour. And then over here, this was a whole thing of cherry tomatoes and then some Romas. I had some peppers along the back, but they didn't really do well. And I pulled all that out. See how my onions doing well again. Probably because they had to compete with the tomatoes. I had all this thyme I found. Again, I didn't really realize I had planted it. And then it just came up. When I took all the tomatoes off, I realized that it was here. So I planted more thyme seeds and I think some dill. I think that might be a dill weed. And then I planted, most of this was just a cover crop that I just wanted to see what it would do. You can see some of the cover crop in here. It's got like, I think it has daikon radishes in it and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll let these onions grow here too. I have a little bit of calendula here that has been flowering pretty well up until recently. And that should come back next year because it's self-seeding. So that bed isn't very interesting. But then over here we have more calendula, which one of the flowers is still really in bloom here. And then I don't know what this is. It looks like something I will have planted, so I just left it. I have more echinacea, and then I have a random strawberry plant I put over here in this little mini bed that I originally had kind of put together for Owen, but he's not really old enough to garden yet, so. All my blueberry bushes are really struggling here. I got a whole row of them. Obviously they're not good this time of year, but pretty sure this one here is like dead. Like it was dead a while ago. I don't think my soil is acidic enough and I didn't really amend it. So let's go back over here to the front and I'll kind of go around. I have some things like in the ground that I planted. And I'll show you that. I had 2 rhubarb plants here. RIP, you know? Life just happens. So we'll try that again next year. I have some asparagus here that looks like it's still doing okay. And I think I had some other stuff planted here that just didn't make it. I had like I can't remember what it's called. Oh, my son's toy. Yeah, this is, what is this called? It's like a spring forsythia. I think that was a forsythia that I stuck in the ground from my neighbor that did not make it. So we'll try that again in the spring. I have a blackberry plant that again this time of year is not great. I have a lemon balm that did pretty good with my apple tree. This apple tree is my Yellow Delicious that I actually got an apple from this year. I'll put in a picture of that here. Raspberry, 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 raspberry. Pretty sure a dead raspberry. Then we have a peach tree. My bees over here. Another, I think this is a peach tree. And then look at this. This is, I gotta remember, I always have to smell it. This is catnip, catmint, that I planted, and it just took off here eventually. It took a while, but I think this is another lemon balm or catnip, I can't remember, but that one kind of flowered early and hasn't done a whole lot. There's a few other things I planted here that died. Can't remember what this is. I think this is an elderberry. Then a couple other elderberry. Elderberry that's still alive. Elderberry that's still alive. Something else I killed. Unsure. I do have a lilac. I'm pretty sure this is a lilac. That is actually still alive. So we'll see what that looks like next year. And then I planted just random seeds to see if they'd come up. This is another catnip here. And my chive plant here. That will come back. It's hardy. And I got it from my neighbor, so it was pretty well established. This, I think, is another lilac that I think will come back. You can see it's like got buds on it. So, and then I have a, what is this called? It's going to tell me here. Hydrangea. It has not thrived here at all. I think it needs more acidic soil and more water or something. And my little sunflowers that I planted here. Then I have 2 great plants, a catawba and a concord. This one has really struggled. It was only like this part that came back. And this one I got grapes off of, but not too many. So we'll see what this does come spring. So other than the few root vegetables I planted and some garlic and some herbs, a lot of this is just kind of continuing to grow from what I've already planted, especially with it being so unseasonably warm. And if it's still growing, I'm just going to let it, you know. Don't believe in doing more work than you have to. Thanks for watching my fall garden tour. If you like this, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and like this video. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my future videos, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.